Today we're going to talk about top reasons why beginner archers will typically hit their arm with the string, and I'm also going to show you how to fix those. A lot of archers will hit their arm because when they first start shooting archery, they don't know which eye to use. And when they use the incorrect eye, that puts your string in a different area on your body where it's going to make it closer to your bow arm. So let me show you. If you're shooting right-handed, so I'm set up right-handed right now, and let's say I was to go close an eye. You should be closing, if you're shooting right-handed, your left eye to aim with the right eye. Right hand, right eye dominant. Beginners will sometimes, if they are left eye dominant and they don't realize it or haven't been taught, they will end up using their left eye to aim with because they think that's my dominant eye, it's easier to aim with, I'm going to use that one. So they close their right eye. The problem when you do this is that the string is going to get closer to your arm if you're using this eye instead of this eye. So if you're using the correct eye, you can come over to this side of your face when you're looking down the string. But when you're closing this eye and aiming with this eye, you're going to get closer because you're going to be trying to look down and have your head propped over this way, and the string's going to be a lot closer to your arm that way. So it's an obvious one, it's an easy one to fix. Just make sure whatever hand you're pulling the bow back with, that's also the hand that you're aiming with, and that should help some of you archers to get the string away from the front arm. So a lot of times what will happen is beginning archers will bring their hand and they're over too far in the grip position there. See how far over I am? So then when they pull back, their hand's already in the way of the string. So when they go to let go, the string's already going to come and it's going to be really close to their arm. So what you can do to fix that is you can take what we call the meaty part of the palm here, and that's actually going to fit into the grip position. So this is going to be flush over here. Okay, see how it's not way over here? Now we're over here more. Because when you go to shoot, you're going to push into the grip with the meaty part of the palm. So this is going to bring your arm out further. Okay, so see that versus that. See how you're already lining up the string on the arm and you haven't even pulled back yet because your hand's over too far in the grip position. So you're going to come out here. So when you go to pull back, you're going to create more space between the string and your arm. I hyperextend, so this would be a normal arm, and then here's mine. To me, that feels normal and that feels comfortable. So you can see the problem with that is that my arm is sticking out a lot further than if it was here. Now I'm at this position right now. Okay, this would be comfortable for me. So it's easy for me to say because I've been doing it for so long, is to keep your hand here and just rotate your arm in and out. And then when you start down low, I tell archers start down here, and then when you get into this is what we call the set position. So you load your arrow onto the bow, set position. When I'm in set position, that's when I turn my arm in, and then just come up and it stays in. Problem is, a lot of new archers, they haven't practiced, they haven't spent their whole life practicing rotating their arm. So when I tell them to do that, just the whole arm turns. So what you can do is there's some drills and skills that you can learn to practice to get that mobility, so that way it becomes easier for you to be able to hold that and lock that in place when you're shooting. When you're trying this, when I show you the drill in just a second, as you pull your bow up, which you can also think about to kind of lock everything in place, because I feel like it's easy to say, oh, turn it in, and then you come up, and then you just feel like there's no stability. Okay, there's a lot less control. So to keep more control and more stability, what you can do is when you your set position, okay, this is when I would turn my arm in. As you pull the bow up, I want you to think about pulling up from underneath the armpit area. And when you do that, keep the shoulder low, which is good. And it's gonna focus on these muscles instead of the little muscles here. It's gonna focus on these big muscles down here. And it's gonna lock this arm in nice and tight. So it's gonna look like this. Okay? As opposed to out here, you can lock it in down here. A lot of archers have a really hard time learning how to rotate just the arm if they hyperextend. A lot of times beginners, because they haven't practiced it, a lot of times they're only able to rotate both the hand and the arm. When you're shooting archery, obviously that's a bit of a problem because you have your hand in the grip position and you're not supposed to turn the grip, your bow, from side to side. So to learn how to be able just to isolate the arm and be able to keep the hand in the grip position nice and straight, all you're gonna do is you're gonna take the letter V that we teach for your grip position and you're gonna push against the wall and you start in your hyperextended position. And then all you're gonna do is practice rotating the arm. Keep the shoulder low. Practice rotating just the arm in and out. If you keep practicing this over time, you're gonna get to a position where you can place your hand in the grip. You can rotate just the arm in. And as you set up, you can hold everything in place. 1,000, 2, 1,000, release. And your arm is not in the way when you go to release the string and you have clearance here, as opposed to here where your arm sticks out. Now you're gonna learn how to rotate it down and in so it stays out of the way. Now, an obvious reason why an archer might hit their arm when they first start shooting, which is not always so obvious to a beginner archer, is something as simple as, what are you wearing when you're shooting? When you're shooting archery, you want tight-fitting clothes or you want short sleeve. If you're wearing a jacket, it is okay, or even a baggy sweater. However, you need to make sure everything stays nice and flat. A lot of beginners come to my classes and they think that because they have a jacket or long sleeve on, they don't need to wear an arm guard because that's what's gonna protect them from the string hitting their arm. In reality, the problem with the baggy jackets and the baggy sweaters is that it hangs so loose that when they let go, the string hits on the material and then they end up hitting their arm anyway. So quick fix for that is you're always gonna grab an arm guard. Never hurts to have an arm guard. And you're actually gonna place the arm guard over whatever it is you're wearing. If you place it underneath, it's not gonna do much for you. So place it over top, and then set it up in a way where now everything is nice and tight against your body and you don't have anything loose and hanging. And this is one way to prevent from hitting your arm or hitting your clothes when you're shooting archery. No matter what, I still always recommend wearing an arm guard. All the top level athletes, Olympic recurve shooters, national barebow shooters, you'll see all of them wearing an arm guard. Now, their arm guard is a lot smaller. So when you are a first beginner, I recommend the one that covers the whole forearm, or even a full length arm guard that will cover the elbow as well. And that's just because you haven't learned to master the things that we've talked about today on how to fix keeping your bow arm out of the way. When you become more of an advanced archer, you're gonna notice that their arm guards are a lot smaller than this and they hold tighter to the body. So when they're shooting, there's no interference there. The reason that they're still gonna wear one is because when they let go of the string, beginners, when they let go of the string, they're more likely to hit their arm as the string's coming forward. More advanced shooters, when they let go of the string ends at what we call the brace height. The brace height is the distance between the grip position and the string. So as the arrow is flying out of the bow, there's a little bit of movement right here on the string, and a lot of times that'll rub against the arm. So it's just more comfortable for higher advanced level archers to go ahead and have an arm guard on there so they don't feel that on their arm. And I'll post a description in the link below, and I'll give you some suggestions on great arm guards for beginners and more advanced shooters that you can use. However, if you can master what we talked about today, you are gonna reduce having the big slaps with the string as you release and the string hitting on the way out, hitting the elbow, hitting the higher part of your arm, even the lower part of your wrist by turning your grip position out just a little bit. One final thing you can try if you're having a hard time hitting your arm and none of the other options that we talked about worked could be to change your stance position. So in beginner archery, a lot of coaches will teach a square stance, which means you line an arrow up, your feet line up with it, keep your feet shoulder width apart. This is a nice stance because it helps the archer when they first start shooting to create that letter T position, so that way they can come straight back and they have really good alignment. However, the drawback to a square stance is that as you pull up, you're pulling straight back, so the string is a lot closer to your arm. And there's more chances to hit that arm when you're shooting. So what you can try is you can actually move to a more intermediate, advanced stance, which is called the open stance. The open stance happens when you take the front leg and you move it back about 3 inches or so, and then you move your body more towards the target, about a 30-degree angle. Instead of being closed off, now you're more open to the target. When you do this, this is gonna open your body a little bit more to create more space between the arm and the string. So as you set up, now you're gonna notice, as I bring it down, that there's space here, whereas when you have the closed stance, it lines straight up, but when you open, now you've created space right here. Okay, now the only drawback to the open stance for a beginner is that beginners don't know all the steps to get their body into a great alignment. So sometimes what can happen is when they go to set up with an open stance, they're just pulling the string back. And as you can see, the elbow is a lot further out, so it's gonna be harder to get that straight line. So try to remember to still, as you set up with an open stance, to still try to get that elbow behind you to keep that good, nice, straight alignment and still be able to create that space there so you're not hitting your arm quite as much. Hope this helps. Have a great day. Happy shooting.